Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're going to be taking a look at a war game which came out a couple of years ago and is currently on sale at Matrix and Slytherin Games. It is 50% off over at Matrix. It's on Steam, but it isn't on sale on Steam as far as I can tell. It just appears to be on sale on Matrix Games. Now, I will have a full disclosure here. I had a hand in making Scourge of War Waterloo, the game we're going to be playing today. I was a lowly tester, so not in any way, dramatically involved. I did have a little bit of involvement on creating the campaign map, but mainly just sort of testing. So while I'm saying this game is on sale, if you do buy it, I will very, 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 very slightly benefit from it. So that's more or less a disclosure from an ethical perspective. If you're actually interested in supporting me, while I certainly recommend this game and love it, a donation or a subscription would be more probably useful to me. With that being said, this isn't a shill for any kind of donation plea. I'm actually going to be playing Scourge of War Waterloo today. You're looking at the Collector's Edition. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the Waterloo battle section, and we're going to be playing a fight from Quatre, or however you pronounce it, I'm not really sure. And we're going to be fighting the first of the Quatre scenarios. It is the French division under General Waterloo, attacking the Allies under General Wellington, although this is sort of the preliminaries to Waterloo itself. So Quatre is actually a DLC pack for Scourge of War Waterloo. The principal game, Scourge of War Waterloo, consists of some 20 scenarios where you can play as either the French or the Allies, but there's these 3 DLC packs that have come out since release as well. Quatre, which was sort of the preliminary battle, which was fought a couple of, 2 days before? 2 days before the Battle of Waterloo, between the French and the sort of Allied armies being led by the British. And simultaneously, while that fight was being waged, there was a battle between the French and the Prussians, sort of the main bulk of the French army up against the Prussian army under General Blücher, which was fought at Ligny. So these two battles are sort of the twin battles of Quatre and Ligny, and then you have the Battle of Wavre. I'm really bad at pronunciations. Wavre, maybe, which was fought during the Battle of Waterloo, actually, in a separate location against the rear guard of the Prussian army. It was supposed to be sort of the Grouchy's attack on the Prussians to keep them pinned so they couldn't come to the Allies' aid, but it didn't work out that way, and he ended up fighting the rear guard of the Prussians, while the main body of the Prussians joined up with the Allies and defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo. With that being said, we're going to be fighting scenario number 21. That is a 3:15 p.m. engagement leading a French division at the Battle of Quatre. It is a 35-minute scenario, roughly. It is taking place at 3:15 p.m. on June 16th, 1815, 2 days before the Battle of Waterloo. The difficulty is medium. The strategic situation. Since 1:30 p.m., the French forces under Marshal Ney have been cautiously advancing or driving forward the positions of the Dutch forces of General... Oh my god, I can't pronounce words. Back north toward Quatre. After bitter hand-to-hand fighting, the pronunciations, has fallen to Relay's corps, which has now taken up forward positions ready to assault the enemy. So this sort of fortified building section has fallen to the French, and they're ready to advance and assault the enemy directly. Around 3 p.m., Anglo-Allied reinforcements have started to arrive on the field. Now is the time to attack and seize the all-important Namur Road before the Allies can establish a secure defensive position. Mission: advance and take the Namur Road. So that is our mission. It is principally in infantry action, so I will do better there. This game does involve cavalry, infantry, artillery, and I'm incompetent leading anything but infantry. I may have been a tester, but I often felt I was testing something, basically testing what not to do, because I was bad at this game, really bad. Scourge of War Gettysburg is something a little bit more up my alley because there's less combined arms fighting in the American Civil War. But in Waterloo, it's a little bit more of a challenge here. So you can see Governor Farm is now in our hands, and the enemy is retired to Quatre. Advance your division and take the Namur Road to your front before the enemy can reinforce their positions. General Foy, supported by the Corps, cavalry will be making an attack toward Quatre soon. Clear the enemy and hold the road. All right, so those are our orders. We've got about 35 minutes to do it. We've got about 5,400 men. This artillery battery is under our control. This infantry brigade here in front of us with these regiments is also under our control. And then if we swing to the right over here, this cavalry is not ours. We don't control this. But we do control an infantry brigade over in this direction. So we've got sort of 2 infantry brigades and some artillery to support. The rest of the French forces that you see here, I'm actually going to pause the game here. The rest of the French forces that you see here as we kind of pan over this map of thousands and thousands of troops is not in our command. So these guys will fight. They will all kind of engage the enemy in various ways based on, I believe, what happened historically. But all these troops over here, they're not ours. Same for, I don't think this artillery is ours either. No, it's not. So we've got 1 division, but we're just a small peon within the French forces. Even this infantry back here is not in our command. So we've basically got like 8 infantry battalions or regiments or whatever, and we've got to take this objective over here. I believe this is the Namur Road right here. We can see the British have some, or the Allies have some forces to our front. Looks like they've got some skirmishers out front if we actually zoom in. And this could probably go faster. But anyway, so it looks like they've got some skirmishers in front of us. Netherlands Jaegers, skirmishing formations here. Obviously not a very thick front. And then behind that, here toward the objective, there appear to be some British redcoats that are on the Namur Road itself, which appears to be on a little bit of a height to its front. So it's kind of some good ground with some shrubbery, and then the road itself in the rear. You can see here you've got some Highlanders, so actually some Scottish soldiers that appear to be defending it, as well as the Cornwall Regiment of Foot, the 8th Brigade of the 9th Infantry Division. 32nd Foot. There's the redcoats over there. And they've got some artillery in support as well. So there you have it. So let's see here. Go to me. So click on that button. That brings me back to yours truly. I am General Division Baron Gilbert Desiré Joseph Waterloo. That is my character in this game. It's kind of a quasi-RPG where you take on one character's role within a given fight, and yeah. Hello everybody, hey Charcoal, hey J Street, all of the other viewers here. So let's get issuing some orders now. So I'm actually going to take command, as it's called, of this particular, yeah, I guess I can't do that while we're paused. So we'll take command of this AI. Then we're going to order his brigade forward. Let's angle it a bit. I'll click and drag a little bit. We'll order the brigade forward. So you can see they're starting to move. Hopefully they'll overrun these skirmishers here as this large brigade of troops starts moving forward. We're also going to move some of our artillery forward as well. Let's go ahead and put these guys in line here. Get those guns moving. Meanwhile, this brigade over here we're also going to take command of. It's actually already moving. Its commander's decided to move its troops on his own. And there appears to be another British or something regiment here in this wooded area over here. So we're actually going to... I'm holding control, by the way, which allows you to kind of scroll the map a little bit more efficiently, but also can lead to some wild camera angles. So we've got these 3 regiments here under this guy over here. So we're going to take command of his brigade. We're going to move them in on a line formation. It'll put 2... We'll move them over a little more toward the road, so it's a little more direct. It'll be put 2 sort of battalions or regiments. I think they're referred to as battalions within the French military, but kind of the way we think about it, if we're familiar with sort of the Civil War sort of history that I've played a lot of, really they sort of play the role more of regiments. So we'll kind of put 2 regiments up front, 1 in reserve. We're actually going to... Is the reserve regiment? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and have him flank. So he'll go wide. And we're going to kind of try and flank this British unit out of its position here, so then we can advance in the flank of the British units. Basically, this brigade over here that I'm advancing is going to advance, push these skirmishers back, and then assault the front of the British formation, while this brigade, hopefully, sweeps through this British unit over here in these woods, sweeps up, rolls up this British artillery, and then rolls up the British flank. That's my overall objective here. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm also going to bring my artillery forward. I'm going to put them in front of this sort of water area to try and bombard the enemies. Maybe we can get them over a little bit and kind of hit the enemy in the flank, but we'll see how this all plays out. Trying to play with my artillery a little bit further forward. Doesn't look like... I thought I might have 2 artillery batteries in my command, but it looks like I just have 1. So all these guys are kind of moving, and you've got artillery firing and whatnot, and things are kind of getting underway. You can see this infantry brigade advancing. But one of the things with this game is, yes, it doesn't have as good of graphics as maybe a Total War game, but the pageantry of war in this game is just absolutely astounding when you've got literally thousands upon thousands of sprites kind of marching across the screen. So yeah, you know, at times, could it be prettier? Could the frame rates be smoother? Yes, but you make trade-offs with games like this. And I won't push the game on you more than that, guys. Again, I know I kind of have a vested... more than a vested interest, just sort of a pride factor of being involved in this game, and I think that's really kind of cool. So I'll try not to lay it on too thick. You can see these enemy skirmishers here on the left are already falling back. These troops of ours are loading their muskets and firing. You can see some smoke starting to come up as they discharge their weapons. God, I just love some of the visuals you get in this game. Alright, so those guys are retreating. Trying to drive these skirmishers off a bit. See, we're inflicting more casualties than we're losing, so that's good, except for that brigade. Which is actually going to, or regiment, which is actually going to advance on this enemy artillery. Actually advance this other unit over here, too. Actually going to spread my force out wide rather than have kind of 2 deep lines. I'm going to try and take out these enemy guns before they do too much damage. OB. General Campe reports heavy presence of enemy trailers in the woods to his front. He's ordered up the 72nd line from Paramount in support of his attack. Okay. Go to the selected unit. You can see they're engaged with the British to their front as well. We've got sort of a 2-brigade front, or 2-regiment front. They're losing much worse. Oh, good God. Much worse than they're giving. But we're going to march this regiment here around this flank here. We're going to do it at the double. We've also got these additional troops which are now in our command, I believe, over here. Let's go ahead and swing these guys over here. They were, I believe, sort of part of the army, or part of the unit, but detached or something to that effect. So let's swing these guys up front here, have them kind of front the enemy. We're going to try and get around these guys' flank. You can see these guys are kind of in a wood line. They've also got artillery to their rear supporting them. But we've got three regiments to their 1. The issue is these guys are rifles. So if you want to, you know, imagine these guys being Sharps rifles or something like that, they're going to be really challenging to dislodge, and they're going to inflict a lot of casualties. You can see here a horrible casualty ratio for us. But that's largely due to the fact these guys are using rifles and the rest of our troops are using smoothbores. Let's go back to the other unit over here. Where were they? So these enemy troops, we've killed an officer. These enemy troops are still kind of hanging in there. We're just going to kind of advance on them. Well, I'm starting to hear some canister fire over there to my right, I think. Swing over there while I issue those orders. Does look like this one regiment of mine is engaging enemy artillery with musketry, but I think they're getting hit by some canister. Casualties certainly suggest it. Good God, right there. Yeah, they just lost 12 more men, right, with that single round of canister. So this isn't the Civil War yet. They don't have rifled muskets yet, so enemy canister can be quite devastating to the troops. I don't want to charge them or anything like that, though, because they're kind of close into some other British infantry to their rear that's kind of supporting those guns. My hope is we just drive them off with musketry fire. We drove off the British. You can see those guys are running. If we knock the trees down, you can see they're running back that way. So we'll go ahead and have one of our regiments sort of follow them. These guys really weren't engaged at all. And then let's have the rest of my brigade advance on this enemy artillery here. Try and knock it out. So we should have multiple enemy, or multiple brigades of ours dealing with the enemy artillery. These guys don't need to advance quite where they were before, so let's move them over this way. And where's that other regiment here? I have another one? Lose track of these guys? Oh God, are they going swimming? That's a huge penalty if they decide to do that. Let's not. I'm over here. With the double quick, too. I really don't want you guys in. You're fucking swimming! Alright. OB, go to selected unit. So you can see there, they're kind of advancing up the hill against these British troops. You can see the Jaegers are they're still shooting at these Jaegers. They're kind of on their flank. But they're slowly pushing them back. Right, and you don't have to issue unit per unit commands. I've taken command of these brigades, so they'll kind of listen to me as I want them to, but one of the cool things about Scourge of War is your ability to sort of delegate a lot of that responsibility to the AI. Yeah, J Street, the game is on sale, but it's not on sale on Steam. It's on sale just through Matrix Direct. So you can actually get the Collector's Edition, which includes all the DLC for under $40. Everything's 50% off. I can zoom out, too, and make sort of issuing commands a little bit easier. Alright, let's do this. Let's advance these guys as well. I'm still hearing that wretched canister fire. Just makes me cringe every time I hear it. Troops getting chewed up by it. Alright, now the officer in command of this brigade is back here, so we'll bring him forward. Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Alright, we'll keep them going that way. So here's the thing, is if this guy gets within range of this, you see this little bugle here, that's an objective point. So you want to get an officer near the objective point so we can hold it. It's kind of like, I think it was Sid Meier's Gettysburg, which did that, where like to hold an objective you actually had to have an officer nearby. Could be wrong. That's kind of the way the Scourge of War or Take Command games have always done it. Guys up. Gonna move up in reserve. Start moving guys on the double. The double quick wears guys out, but does get them into position much more quickly. Goal here obviously is to flank the enemy line. You can see there's a couple of enemy battalions or regiments sort of along this roadway with this main objective of ours. What we're actually going to do is we're going to advance multiple regiments down on their flank to try and overwhelm them there. And we'll see if we can get there. Order my leader to gallop too. Actually, technically, I think I'm kind of hanging back a bit. So bringing our artillery up. We've driven off the enemy artillery on the flank. Our own infantry is slowly coming up. This is a little bit problematic because this one battalion's getting engaged all by himself way to the front. You can see he's lost over 100 more casualties than he's inflicted. Alright, these guys are coming up in reserve. Bring those trees back. Make it look a little bit prettier. These guys on the flank, still driving back the enemy skirmishers. Why don't you halt? Engage the guys to your front. Right. 115 yards, 121 yards. Kind of got 3 regiments here engaging a lone British regiment, but they're all engaging on the front. So we're going to move this battalion here on the flank to try and flank these British troops. And we're also going to advance these guys. You can see the objective is now in our control. This objective here, the crossroads, this officer over here is holding it. The brigade commander will bring these guys up here on the double as they're already coming up. Sort of got some additional troops fighting. Let's get rid of these trees again. You can see our troops over here are fighting the British rifles. They're losing more than they're getting, but they're also inflicting, I think, reasonable casualties. I'm hoping 1 battalion is enough to kind of hold them in position. You can see here we've got one of our guys behind the enemy. Actually, these guys are engaging this artillery battery here. You can see the British are calling in some additional reinforcements. Quite a few troops are marching in to defend the objective that we're trying to take. And most of our troops don't seem to fare very well in combat versus the British. Yikes. The top number here is our casualties. The bottom number is the enemy casualties. That results in a negative grade of 53. So, not the prettiest. I think really to have any hope here, we've really got to flank them. Which I'm trying to do, but I probably can do a better job of it. So, let's advance this way. Boot at the double. You're advancing also. Well, you can advance a little bit further forward. Meanwhile, one brigade is kind of holding position here. Where are these artillery pieces going? Slowly moving up into position. So the idea is to fire this artillery and enfilade the enemy position and roll their flank up to the objective point. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. You can see more British troops sort of forming in the front over here. These guys are losing more than they're getting. Everybody's kind of losing more than they're getting. 170 to 60, 130 to 40, 57 to 30. British troops' rates of fire historically were known to be very good. I'm going to move this infantry over here to kind of continue to harass the enemy artillery because I don't want to do what I'm trying to do to the enemy to allow them to do to me by just kind of exposing my flank and rear to enemy artillery. We'll try and push this artillery off with one of our battalions kind of peeled off to the north. Meanwhile, these enemy battalions are retreating. We'll go ahead and advance our line as we continue to try and flank the enemy. Now, they're trying to flank, well, not really flank, but they're trying to push back our left as well. And they may succeed there. But I'm less worried about that. My troops moving forward. Shooting at some guns that are retreating in front of us. Closing into less than 100 yards to engage some enemy troops. Continue trying to press back their flank. Could charge and melee them. That might actually be a better strategy for some of these guys. I'm not sure I want to do that. I prefer fighting it out with ranged weapons here. Alright, so these guys are... The enemy artillery is withdrawn further away. Alright, let's move this artillery up here on the double. They're exhausted, but if we can get them into the objective point so they can hold the objective, that's all I really care about. What are our troops over there doing? Oh no! The rifles drove our troops back. Well... What are these guns doing? Literally nothing. Move up on the double. Troops forward. I'm going to move these guys forward as well. Alright, so we're continuing to try and flank the enemy line. Oops. Alright, you guys move here, move at the double. The enemy line is a little bit thicker and I think a little bit more challenging to deal with than we would like. These guys back here are falling back under heavy pressure. This brigade's losing quite a bit. They are doing a good deal of damage, though. How are all these guys doing here? 170 to 75. We're definitely losing the casualty battle. Still holding that objective. Why don't you double-click your way up there? Alright, so we've got this one reserve brigade or battalion moving forward. Alright, continuing the pressure on the enemy right flank. Our own flank is caving. We're going to shift this battalion over here. They've actually one of the few battalions with positive kill-to-death ratios over here. You guys, too. Close the range a bit. No valid target in range. You know what that means. It's time to advance. Alright. Same for these guys. All you guys, you don't have any valid targets in range. Well, you know what you should do? You should make sure there is an enemy in range. Alright. Those guys are retreating to their, where they'd rather be. It looks like these British troops are also retiring over here on that flank. So that's good. I kind of moved this battalion in to refuse the flank a bit. Actually, I've got a couple of units here kind of playing that part. The issue now is the enemies kind of refuse their flank pretty effectively, so our ability to get in around them is going to be more you know, I don't think there's any way I'm going to sweep these guys around here. Also, the enemy artillery may be reforming over there. So we did lose our officer on this objective, is no longer holding it. That's okay. Our artillery's starting to come up here on the double. Let's swing our own artillery in up here north. It's not really doing anything. It spent more time marching than doing anything else. These infantry forward here. And kind of on the double, you can see our fatigue bar is starting to go down a little bit. I've been running probably too much. That's why you run, right? I'm hoping to close in here. Where's my officer? I think my commander's still in the rear. Go to me. Yep, I think I'm still in the rear. Alright, so let's try and get up here toward the front. I'll gallop myself. You can see me riding in there courageously to the front lines. The coalition reinforcements are starting to kind of come up. Kind of are. They may already outnumber me. I'm not really sure. Alright, you guys aren't doing anything here. Why don't you shift right? Do it at the double. You can see there's French cavalry moving forward on the other flank. The briefing said that would happen. We've got an infantry unit here holding the position. Probably too tired to be any value in advancing. Moving my artillery forward here. Alright, so we'll advance them a little bit closer to the enemy. See, if any of these regiments start to break, we're going to be in some trouble. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them start to do so. I really don't want you dealing with Jaegers. I want you engaging the main enemy line. Enemy actually might be outflanking me. The line kind of out extends mine, so let's double these guys around the flank. Although our artillery's kind of... Our troops are going to be kind of exposed to the artillery. That battalion of ours reform at all? Why don't you guys come over here on the double, and if you make it there on time, then we can bring this other unengaged battalion from the 72nd into action. Okay, this regiment was broken. Good thing we got this new fresh regiment over here on the flank, which is actually doing more damage than it's taking, so that's good. One of these British units looks like it's about to pull back, or at least it was starting to run back. These guys have also inflicted a lot more casualties than they've lost. So a couple of our units have done that at least. Not so much over there. Some of these guys. So we're going to kind of be advancing with these guys. Rear exposed enemy artillery. That may be a bad idea. I don't know if any of these guys have shot at the enemy or done anything. These guys have inflicted 6 casualties. 3, 7. So our artillery's done a grand total of 13 casualties. I might have been better off just leaving them back to bombard the enemy from a distance. These guys look like they're about to break. Their line is kind of less uniform here. Now you can do that in advance, but you can also do that in retreat. Kind of look to me like they're starting to retreat. Let's hope that they do, and then we can break through. Also, this battalion here doesn't look terribly cohesive. But I think our troops that ran are kind of gone. They're still running back there. I don't think they're going to be any use to us all the rest of this fight. Trying to push on this objective here. Kind of swung way out wide to flank it. About, what, 24 minutes into this fight? Put these guys over here. Artillery's starting to do a little bit of damage, though. Up to 22 casualties inflicted now that they're in close. Again, trying to move my artillery forward with the support of my infantry to hit the enemy close. Still holding that objective? We are. This other infantry unit's arrived, so let's bring these fresh 500 troops forward. Canister from someone. I don't know if that's my troop. My troops might be close enough. Artillery might be close enough to inflict canister. Some other units are within 200 yards, I think. As long as you don't lose more than 5,000 men, you'll be close to the historical outcome. Well, I've only got 5,000 men to lose. This isn't the whole Battle of Quatre. It's the just one division that I command. Alright, that infantry appears to be, I don't know if running off, but they're certainly withdrawing a bit. Now they've got a battalion of Mundens in front of them. The Landwehr Battalion Munden. They're kind of hanging out. They're now our new focus. You can see that artillery just ravage them. I think they'd retreat, but I think they're skirmishers for the rest of this unit. Maybe not. Those are Highlanders. You can see down the line here, the troops continue to wage... Oh no, another battalion's retreating! Cowards! You damn cowards! Alright, so who are these guys shooting at? Shooting at these guys and these guys. These little target icons represent who they're shooting at. Why aren't these British running yet? They don't own the objective anymore. You can see the objective has switched from the British to kind of a neutral. It means it's in flux. Alright, so this initial enemy battalion that was guarding the actual objective is retreating, I think? Or at least moving back. We'll move in the 2nd Léger, 4th Battalion. Close with the enemy a bit. Primary target appears to be this regiment over here. 120 yards away, 122 yards away. They're starting to break. We might take the objective. The problem is this game doesn't work quite like Ultimate General does. In Ultimate General, if you take the objective, by the end of the battle, you win. In this game, the way things work is if the enemy is, you know, if you don't score enough points, per se, if you don't hold the objective long enough, then you can lose. Why don't you advance in a little bit closer? You guys also appear to be running a bit. Why don't you advance? My leader will advance. Troops are still... They're running through the water. How are you not holding the objective? You're literally sitting right on it. Do you not have enough troops? Oh, shit. No. I almost just issued orders for my... I did issue orders for the whole brigade. I wasn't paying attention. Reposition themselves. The British are apparently also doing somewhat likewise. Meanwhile, our artillery is still here. These guys are getting flanked like hell by these British troops over there. You guys haven't even engaged yet. Move forward, you assholes. Do some work. Alright. That's me. I have a positive score of 164 so far. Why don't you fall back on the double quick? I don't really want you getting shot to pieces just for the hell of it. Not really doing any good by getting shot to pieces over there. So run away as fast as you can and hopefully salvage your morale. Alright, this artillery starting to do some work. Inflicted almost 100 casualties now. I think we're also getting hit by enemy artillery over here on our flank a bit. Oh, our artillery, some of our artillery turned around and is shooting back at this infantry that's exposed itself. Not really who I want you shooting at or wasting your time with. I would order these guys to charge, but they're super tired anyway. Probably wouldn't do any good. Alright, so these guys fell back and sort of reformed, and their morale is back up to full pretty much, so that's good. We're kind of repositioning ourselves. We've actually cut ourselves off from the rest of the French force. But, okay. Do work, Artie. Do work. I kind of route this brigade so we can start pushing a little bit better. Okay, these guys just engaged for the first time all battle. These guys are probably blocked a little bit because line of sight does matter. If you've got troops in front of you, your own side, you can't really shoot through them. So 4 and 4. 178. Alright, most of the line's clear now. It can fire. It's kind of hooking up with this other unit over here on the right. Alright. Close. You can see there's a shell exploding in midair. We haven't taken the objective yet. Alright, why don't you turn your flank a bit? Alright, these guys broke and ran. They may reform still, though. Their morale is still reasonably high. Actually, I can issue orders. Oh, no, I can't. Never mind. Yeah. They may call me the Butcher, but they could also call me the Fatiguer. I don't know. That doesn't really work. I did wear my troops out a little bit before they got into the fight. Some of them, anyway. It's almost because I was in a little bit of a rush. I don't know if that was necessarily necessary, but it wasn't a bit of a rush. You can see there we did push another battalion of British troops back. I will say it seems to me like the French troops kind of hang in there to fight a little bit longer. These guys are firing into the flank. Now, their flank and rear is exposed to these guys over here, so that's not good for morale, but yeah, you can see they're already starting to fall back. But the hope was that if they fired into this British unit's flank from less than 100 yards, that they'd drive him back. They don't appear to be doing that. So before they break, let's just reform the line. Pull it back. Face it in the right direction. You know, that kind of stuff. So they're no longer getting flanked. They apparently don't have enough troops on that objective to hold it. Artillery over 100 casualties hit? Yeah, they are. Huzzah! Alright, so 166 to 89 and 99 to 191. So one battalion doing much better than the other. Obviously, the enemy's principal fire seems to be on our unit on the right here. The enemy is sort of reforming. They've also formed a new line back here in the rear. I don't know if we push those guys back or what, but those British troops appear to be running. We're getting really close to the objective. Actually pushing some of these British troops back now, too. Multiple British units now appear to be heading back. Fine. Alright, let's see if we can rush in on the objective. Let's see if we get close enough here to consider the objective ours. Troops over here on the left are tired. They've done a lot more damage to the enemy than they've received. Aha! The objective is ours as I swing the camera way up north. We have to hold it for 1 minute to start getting points for it. Where are we at right now, score-wise? 350? I don't think that's good enough. I think we took too long to take the objective. Major defeat. Yes, we did. Waterloo, Belgium. Our forces have suffered a major defeat at the hands of our bitter enemies. A full retreat has begun, and our forces are starting to reorganize. Grievous mistakes were made on the battlefield by commanders at all levels. Reserves must be called up immediately to refill the ranks for the next battle. Yeah, I lost. Enemy casualties 1,900, ours 2,400, so we lost about 500 more men than the enemy. Our grade, well, that was for Michel Ney, which isn't us. Relays Corps, Baclau. So our grade was 357. I think you need like a score of 5,000 or something like that. We lost about 1,700 men. We inflicted almost even casualties, surprisingly enough, against the enemy, but we didn't do enough to win the battle. The battle does continue afterwards, but you just don't win. So theoretically, you know, we have taken the objective, but these enemy reinforcements coming in will clearly dislodge us if we play long enough. Additionally, these enemy troops over here might dislodge us as well. But we pushed forward. I don't think we pushed quick enough. I don't think we pushed hard enough. I probably could have put more effort behind the flanking column and kind of more urgency to that. Maybe waited to start the frontal attack till the flanking units were in position and see how that all went over. With that being said, guys, I think that's all I'm going to do here tonight. I know it's a little bit late, and I just wanted to kind of show this game off. Just wanted to kind of mention that, you know, hey, this is Scourge of War Waterloo. I've played it once or twice on the channel, not a whole lot. But Waterloo is a game that I did sort of, you know, I had a little bit of a hand in it, and it's on sale right now on Matrix and Slytherin. So if it's something you're interested in, by all means, If not, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts. I may cover a little bit more Scourge of War, but until next time, guys, thanks for tuning in. And this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.